Hey guys, I'm Kai from Lucas Lane Royals. Hope you're doing well. Today I got some great news for you. I got another clutch of eggs that just hit the ground, so that's really exciting. We're going to take a look at those. I also want to show you the first clutch of eggs that hatched this season. We're going to try to understand what happened and maybe learn a thing or two. And lastly, I want to give you an update on my clown project. I was contemplating how I should organize this video. The update to clutch number 1 is probably the low point in this hobby, so I figured I would sandwich that in between two high points. We'll start off with a clutch of eggs, and then we'll end with the female that is next in line to give me a clutch of eggs. So starting off with the most recent clutch of eggs, the female is a fire spinner blast, het for hypo, possibly a hypo. Quick pause for today's comment, and it comes from PAC Pythons, and he says, if your fire spinner blast is a visual hypo, her sheds will have zero visible pattern. Next time she sheds, hold it up to the light. Well, I actually knew about that tip, but I never remembered to try it out for myself. So PAC Pythons, thank you for reminding me of that tip. I'm definitely going to try it out, and I'll let you know how it goes. I'll also leave a link to his YouTube channel down in the description below, so you can go ahead and check him out. And while you're there, like and subscribe. Now, the male that I paired to her is a double het hypo puzzle. So if half of the clutch turned out to be visual hypos, then she's probably a visual hypo. And if only 25% of the clutch turned out to be hypo, then she's probably just a het hypo. Now, this isn't going to be conclusive evidence because we're talking about statistics, and sometimes statistics doesn't always line up with reality. But we'll find out in about 60 days. For now, let's go ahead and pull that clutch. Well, we know we have some eggs. Just don't know how many. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and pull out that tub with the female and her eggs. Because this is the first time mom, I don't know how she's going to react to this whole situation. I have a towel here. It's going to protect me if I need it. I'll cover her and then take her off the eggs. Got a couple straws here. You guys will see what I do with those. Some of you probably know what I'm going to do with those. What I don't have is the egg box, and I'll tell you why a little bit later. I have a surprise for you, but let me go ahead and get her tub and let's see how many eggs she gave us. Oh, she's coming out. She's feeling a little defensive. So this is where the towel comes in handy. She is squaring up against me. So all I really need to do is just cover her. Just want one layer of the towel. That way she can't really see what's going on, and of course she's being difficult. It's okay if the egg rolls because I am going to candle them a little bit later anyway. There we go. So I can go ahead and check her. You can see how concave that body is, and there are no eggs in there at all. I do have a tub of fresh water, warm water, ready for her, so I'm going to plop her in there and then get back to the eggs. All right, so let's take a look. We have 5 eggs here, and I did post a picture of the eggs. I took a picture of the eggs from underneath the tub because I have semi-transparent tubs. I posted it on Instagram and Facebook and asked you guys to guess to see how many eggs there are. There's a lot of number 7s. A lot of people guess 7. We got some 8s, some 9s. But mostly I think everybody centered around 7. So now we got her off the eggs. I'm gonna go get the egg box and I'll be right back. So I have the egg box now. And the reason I didn't take this out earlier was because I didn't really want this to cool down. Why, you ask? Well, that's because there's already 2. And you can see I marked it with an R because they rolled out. So this morning when I checked, 2 eggs were rolled out and she wasn't coiled around them. They were cold, but I had back-to-back meetings, 4 of them in a row. So I put those into the incubator, planning to get the female off, get this on camera for you guys. So These 2 rolled out. I did candle them already, so now I have to candle the remaining 5. So I candled them, got them all right side up, and now I'm just going to reposition all of these, or reorientate all of them so they're in a zipper pattern. I do prefer using the zipper pattern. It just kind of make things easier to stack together, and then also it allows me to use less straws to pin everything together. So I'm going to make sure I put the rollouts together at the very end. So I have 2 piles here. We'll have 1 pile with all the ones that she was coiling up against, and then we'll have 1 pile that rolled out. So I think that looks good. And now we'll just get the eggs into the incubator, and then we can go ahead and get mom all cleaned up. So that was a pretty cool clutch, and I hope it's going to strengthen my hypo project. It surely won't hurt to know that all the babies are going to be 50% het for puzzle, because a dad is a double het puzzle hypo, or hypo puzzle. I was hoping to make some pastel yellow belly extreme gene het clown for my clown project, but things didn't go too well. I did get 3 what appears to be healthy babies. I'll show them off to you first. And then after that, I'll show you all the deformed ones that are still in the eggs, and I think they all perished. So stay tuned for that. And I'll give you a quick warning before I show you the deformed babies, just in case you guys don't want to see it. I'll put a timestamp down in the description below. So when you see the warning, click on the timestamp and you can skip forward to the clown project update. All right, so these are the only 3 that hatched, or the only 3 that are healthy looking, and I'll show you the other ones in a little bit, but we'll take a look at these. Now what I'm trying to do here is identify the extreme gene, if it's in here or not. So far what I'm seeing is just yellow belly pastel, so you can see the busy pattern on its belly right there along the edges, busy and pixelated. You can also see the busy pattern on its side. You know, both yellow belly and pastel will busy up the sides a little bit, but what I'm trying to look for is that wide striping down its back. So what I understand from the extreme gene is that it tries to make a stripe down its back, and you can see there's a little bit right behind the head, but then beyond this point right here, it just breaks. So I don't think that this one has the extreme gene in it. This looks to be a pastel yellow belly. And by the way, I did sex all of these. They are all male, which is kind of a bummer because I was hoping to at least have 1 female, but oh well. So that's the first one. And then moving on to the next one. Again, we have yellow belly. All of these are yellow belly because the mom is an ivory. And this one you can see it's got a little bit more of a striping, but I don't think this is conclusive enough to say that it is, or it has extreme gene in it. So you can see that it is a little bit brighter. It does have more connectivity, or I should say connectivity. It's just, you have a little bit more of a pattern down the ridge behind the head. But again, as soon as it gets to about here, it starts to break, and all you get is the banding. You got the crazy belly pattern there. You got some nice flaming. You got a lot of this banding going across, and then just all of these breaks. There's a little bit of a, what is it called? Lost for words here. So a little bit of a ringer coming in on this side. You can see the whites trying to connect, trying to go up. But yeah, so now moving on to the third one. all in the ball. This one does have a little bit more orange flaming than the other two. And he still has that cool belly pattern. As far as the banding go, not the banding, the striping go, see it just starts at the back of its head, and then you get a little bit of dots, and then it just ends right there. So I'm not seeing much evidence here of the extreme gene. So far, all three of these look to be pastel yellow belly. It's got them really wacky pattern on the side right there, all that pixelation. And like I said, these flames are a little bit more orange than the other two. But as far as that goes, I don't see anything else in here that's evidence of extreme gene. So now let me put these guys away, and I'll get out the ones that perished. All right, so here they are. Just a quick warning, anybody who doesn't want to see dead or deformed hatchlings, you might want to turn away now. So that was your warning. I believe all of these have perished already. They feel like their body are stiff, so that probably means that, you know, they didn't make it. But what I want to do is kind of take a look at these and gather some data so that I can use it for later. I do have another clutch that also has yellow belly in it, yellow belly inspector, because the female is a super stripe, also paired to the same pastel extreme gene clown male. So if maybe extreme gene and yellow belly are not compatible, which I don't believe so, because I have seen pictures of such animals on Morph Market. So I don't know, but the last three were all male. And if these are all female, then maybe that has something to do with it. So I'm just trying to pick up some data so I can use that information on future clutches. So you can see there is some life in this one still. Yeah, you can see it move, right? All right, so I'm gonna hold off on opening that one any more than it is. This one, yeah, this one definitely is gone. That one's definitely gone. This one is also gone. Sorry for the silence, guys. I'm just trying to figure out which one to start with. All right, so this one we said have a little bit of movement. We'll leave that one to the side. We'll start with this one. This one doesn't appear to have completely absorbed its yolk. Just trying to find out where its head is. And you can see the head is very, very deformed. The top jaw did not form, nor did its eyes. This looks to be very pale. There's some neck striping here. The eye bands actually connect to the neck stripe right behind its head. Severe kinking, if you guys can see that. So this might have been the three banger. Not sure. This might have been the three banger. You can see how the pattern behind the neck or behind the head and the neck is very kind of uniformed. And that's kind of what I was expecting to see with a extreme gene, kind of just uniformity around the alien heads, and then hoping I can see a very distinct stripe down its back. But I think the yellow belly and pastel might be conflicting with it. very slippery here. Let me just remove the yolk from its belly since it's not being used anymore at this point. I'm not sure if I can pop. I mean, I don't see any hemipenes, so this could be a female. We'll just keep that in our minds right now. This one I believe is also gone. Same thing, they didn't really absorb their yolk. My theory is that they passed away near term. You can see again, very, very deformed. Very deformed head. Top jaw is very short. The eyes are missing. It's actually fused. It's actually fused together. The front 2/3. So this is 1/3. I guess this is maybe 1/3. This is 2/3. Are fused together. The back is severely kinked. Let's take a look to see. Again, we have the eye stripe connecting to the neck stripe. Not much in way of a stripe here. Definitely pastel yellow belly looking. Those are its hemipenes. So I guess gender didn't have much to do with which one passed and which one didn't. So we got two hemipenes. If you can see, they're actually protruding out. It doesn't even have the muscles to pull them in. Very sad. Moving on to this one. Looks like these are all deformed in very similar manner, which is very odd. Still not sure what caused it. Again, I'm just trying to collect data so that I can use it for future clutches. If you guys remember from the egg cutting video, we have one that came out of the shell by itself, and it was like on one side of the tub, and then the other two that are healthy that came out from the other side of the tub. So we got one healthy one from this corner and two healthy ones from this side. I can't explain or understand why the middle would be any different in terms of temperature. So I don't really think it has anything to do with the incubation temperature, unless the middle wasn't warm enough. Maybe the sides were warmer and the middle wasn't warm enough. So that could be one thing, but also my heat tape in the incubator is on the back wall of the incubator. So these two here were in that direction. So the two eggs that were sitting here that came out healthy were closest to the heat tape, which is on this side. But yet the one on this corner also came out healthy. So I would think that the heat would start on this side and move over this way. So hottest would be on this side and coolest will be on this side, which is closest to the front. This is the front of the incubator, the door. So yeah, I don't understand. I don't think it has to do with the incubation temperature. Maybe it has something to do with the gene itself, or just the compatibility. Sometimes compatibility with two animals just don't work out. So that's why I want to see what happens with the next clutch. Again, that also has yellow belly in it, so we're looking at the same genes, yellow belly, pastel, and extreme gene. Of course, there's other genes in that mix as well, so we'll have to see what happens. But I'm wondering if when we put yellow belly, extreme gene, and pastel together, if it would cause this type of deformity in the next clutch. So we'll have to wait and see. But so far, this one looks to be the brightest out of all of these. You can see how these have a little bit of a dinginess. Could be that these passed away sooner. They're a bit paler. This one is very bright looking, and we have that connectivity of the eye stripe to the neck band, and this is a very thick neck band compared to what we've seen on those. Let me take a look at this one. Yeah, this one has a very thin neckband. This one's pretty thick as well. Not as thick, I would say. If you take a look, I think this one is thicker, but yet this one tries to travel a little bit longer. There's a little break there, but it does travel a little bit longer. In terms of uniformity, again, we have some uniform pattern right back here. Same on this side. Yeah, I think this one might have been the 3 gene. Pastel, yellow belly, extreme gene, because you can see all these arches are pretty uniform. They're pretty like squared off with rounded corners until you get to about here. And then I believe the yellow belly or the pastel is helping to connect over the dorsal. No ringer on this one. We got some kinking back here. I don't know if you guys can see it, but I can definitely feel it when I run my fingers over it. The big, not a big kink, but it's severe kink right here. It's pretty twisted right there. Again, the upper jaw is not formed and there's no eyes. This is the last one we'll look at. And I'm going to go ahead and after this I'll clean everything up and I'll leave that one in the incubator because it still seems to be alive. So this one looks a little bit dingy, a little cloudy, just like the first two. So this may have perished sooner than the third one that I pulled out of the egg. Okay, so far all 4 of these have the eye band that connects to the neck stripe, and this one travels even further than the last one. Yeah, I'm not really sure what to make of it, but at least we learned a little bit. We learned that this issue here isn't impacted by gender. I'll see if I can. Don't see any hemipenes on that one. I don't think we popped this one. This was the third one. That's a male. So I think 2 males, 2 females passed away. And you can see the neck striping down its back, the connectivity with the eye stripe. All 4 of these had it. This one's got some busy pattern, not as uniform sides. On this side is pretty uniform. This one is probably the closest. If these were all healthy and somebody wanted me to call the identification, I would probably go ahead and call this one to be pastel yellow belly extreme. The other 3 I would probably just say possible extreme, but they do have some connectivity. This one I can't even look at the patterns on the side of its neck because it's so far deformed. Yeah, so this one's got some uniformity around the side of its neck as well. So yeah, if I was to call it, this one would have the 3 genes. The other 2 I would say pastel yellow belly, possible extreme gene. We'll go ahead and let that one sit back in the incubator, and I'll try to give you an update if that one comes out on time while I'm editing this video. Otherwise, you know, I might put it in the next video. Now, before I end this video, as promised, I want to give you an update on my clown project. Really excited about this pairing and I can't wait for those eggs to drop. So let me take you into my snake room and we're going to take a peek at the female. And I have to show you this firefly clown. She's a bit restless right now. She's always trying to stick her head out and I think she's just looking for a good place to nest down. But she's got a nice round girth to her. Body's nice and round, nice and plump looking. So what I like to do in this case when they keep moving around is I'll just go in and crumble up the paper. That way it'll give them access to go underneath and give them a little bit of privacy. So that kind of just makes the paper elevated a little bit so that they can stick their nose underneath and then curl up their entire body underneath it. Just coil underneath it and find a warm spot and just get situated and stay there until they lay their eggs. So that's the female, and she was paired to a Enchi Orange Dream Head Clown male. So we got some brightening genes in there, we got some orange genes in there. Hopefully we hit a baby with all 4 of those codons, and that is a visual clown. I don't know, maybe I'm getting ahead of myself, but I'm just really excited about it. And I hope you guys are too. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you want to see more updates, make sure you're subscribed and hit that notification bell. As always, thanks for watching. Please share, and I'll see you guys next time.